I apologize for the late review. I had a very exciting weekend and I kind of just wanted a couple days off. So I was like, you know what? I'll push this movie off to another day to review because I actually did watch this movie on February 14th on a Friday night. Me and my mom watched it and I was like, you know what? I'll review it probably later on because I just had a really exciting weekend. So here we are. I watched it days ago, but here's my review. The Gorge stars Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, and it's about two highly trained operatives become close after sent to a project opposite sides of mysterious gorge. From director Scott Derrickson, the man that brought you The Black Phone, Sinister, and the first Doctor Strange, we're talking his brand new Apple TV movie, The Gorge. So, I never heard of this movie. I actually heard about this movie from a friend on YouTube on a live stream. I was like, what is this movie? Never saw a trailer, never saw a poster, and then literally on Valentine's Day on Apple TV, it was on the front page. I was like, oh, there's that movie. And so here we are talking about the Scott Derrickson movie, which I'll go ahead and say this. This movie would have been a slight improvement seen in the big screen because, man, oh man, I love Scott Derrickson. I really love Sinister. Sinister is a great movie. I really like The Black Phone. I like his Doctor Strange movie, and I'm intrigued on to see what he can do with The Black Phone too. But with this movie is not those things. This is not a 100% horror film. Like, there's definitely, like, some tones of horror film. Like, it's definitely horror adjacent, if you could say that. But this movie's action sci-fi. This is a romance movie. And starting off with the positive, Miles Teller is such a good leading man. I mean, he is so good in this movie. And I wish there was a little more character of him, just him being, like, a really cool sniper. But I will say, for the most part, this movie is really just these two actors, and they're across from each other from this gorge, speaking basically like the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, writing stuff on a whiteboard and talking to each other, and that's how they build chemistry and romance, and his performance and her performance rely on no dialogue, speaking to each other from across a gorge. Both of them are fantastic. I thought Miles Teller was really good in this movie. Anya Taylor-Joy, I feel like I've seen this performance before. Maybe it's because she had an accent in this movie, and honestly, my mom was like, does she really speak that way, or does she like American? Turns out she's from Florida, but she always has accents in her movies. Anya Taylor-Joy is very good in this movie. I think both of them work very well in the first 50 minutes because they are just truly talking to each other without dialogue, and both their performances are that strong enough to build this chemistry. And you also got to give it to Scott Derrickson for his direction, working with these actors, telling this story, building a romance movie, while also being a creepy, mysterious action sci-fi. And I really, really thought this first hour was perfect. Honestly, I was like, I am into this movie. I'm loving what I'm looking from this movie, cinematography-wise. And then something happens where I don't want to spoil, but they both end up in this gorge. From that point to the very end, it became really sloppy. Like, it felt like as soon as they went into this gorge, their chemistry just kind of faded away. And then when we get to our third act, it becomes not really about the gorge or the relationship. It becomes about bad government people. And so it just became so, like, predictable, and it became very cliche, and I just got more and more disappointed because, again, that first 50 minutes, I was into this movie. I was like, this romance is working really well for me. And the first action scene we get, which is both of them on these different towers, shooting at each other's towers because of the monsters inside this gorge. It was really cool. It was suspenseful. It was well directed. I was loving all that stuff. And then they go into the gorge, and it literally loses all air to me. It loses, like, all the suspense, gone. All the predictability is like, okay, that's gonna be that. They are going to do this. This is how this is going to happen. It's going to end in this third act like this. It's super predictable and cliche. I will say the monsters down below are pretty cool looking, and I thought the CGI in them was really cool. Like, there is one scene where they have to walk through something, and it is a really cool design of what they are walking around. I was like, that's cool. That's a really cool image. I'm really appreciating the CGI. I will say some of the green screen wasn't the best, but most of the CGI really did work for me. But either way, I watched this movie and I said it was entertaining. It was a well-made movie. I just think the script was completely stronger in the beginning, and the second act and third act became just very mid. Like, I mean very, very mid. You could almost say a mess of a movie. Like, it felt like it was like, all right, we did what we wanted to do. Now the studio's like, all right, we gotta do sci-fi action. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like the studio was like, hey, we need sci-fi action. We need this to sell this movie to Apple. But that first 50 minutes, great ass stuff. Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, good performances. Scott Derrikson, once again proving he's a well-capable director, and I'm excited to see what he does next. I just wish this movie had a way stronger script in the second half of the movie. I'm going to give The Gorge a C+. And again, I give this grade, but I'm gonna tell people it's not a bad movie, honestly. Like, it's a good movie. It's an alright movie. Like, I would almost say, like, right now, I'd say a good movie, but I just remembered watching the movie and being like, I really enjoy this concept. But after a few days, I can't lie, it kind of left my head. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do a movie review on that. So, I guess it's a bonus when you don't, like, review a movie right away. You know, I probably, on Friday night, would have gave this a B-. Probably. But right now, I feel like a C+. But that's just my opinion. Let me know down below. Did you like this movie? Did you watch it with your boyfriend or girlfriend and enjoy it? Because I watched it with my mom. Yeah, my mom liked it, though. She really enjoyed it. Anyway, guys enjoy this movie review. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.